हॅलो, येतोय ना? काय बोलतोय मी? दोन्ही हात वरती कर ऋषिकेश, दोन्ही हात वरती कर.
Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for being here and thank you for being patient through this whole thing event. And our panelists are on the way, so they'll be here shortly. But I request everyone to please settle down and keep their phones on silent. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good day. And with that energy, let's make it even better. I'm Shreya Mondal.
And I, Aditya Babar, extend a warm welcome to our respected guest, Principal Ma'am, Vice Principal Ma'am, Head of Department and faculties, and all my classmates. I request everyone to please keep their phones in silent to maintain the decorum of the event.
Requesting everyone, please stand up for the Saraswati Vandana.
या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेष जाड्यापहा
Thank you, everyone. By the way, Aditya, do you know what time is it?
12. Why?
No, it's time for our one-day management conclave to begin.
A management conclave. That means we get to interact with industry specialists as they talk about the real life experiences and current trends. Today's topic will be covering those information gaps through skill set and knowledge. But before we talk about today's topic, let me tell you that this event has been brought to you by Enactus, the management club of VSIT. And let's understand their works on their YouTube channel through a preview of the video. Back again, another episode of
So, welcome to Knowledge Bites by an Actors.
Wonderful. Now, let's decode today's Management Conclave 2024 with the topic Creating Connection and Building Bridges. Here, what you can expect in throughout this session, today we have with us esteemed industrial expert from various industry to share their valuable insight and experience with our student. Throughout this event, we will be exploring meaningful collaboration of finance, marketing, HR, and journal management and unfold various ways we can bridge the gap to the success.
That's very true. Let me tell you the results that you will get after this Conclave 2024. You will get an invaluable lesson through our esteemed panelists as they deep dive into collaborations, communications, and strategic connections. Enlighten yourself, reinvent yourself by understanding networking, building relationship strategies in different sectors. Now, let me introduce you to our first keynote speaker, Mr. Umesh Maskari sir. Miss Umesh Maskare sir is a great personality. As we decoded his personality through internet, we understood that sir has completed his LLB in Karnataka University. Sir has the understanding of market intricacies and complexities. Sir has also been a part of Konkan Railway for 2 years. Sir also has the company secretary and legal head of the Konkan Railways. Sir has an experience of more than 15 years, and he's going to share this experience with us today. So now I would invite Sir to please get on the panel and start with the discussion. Can we have a round of applause, guys? I would also request Poonam Irvani ma'am to kindly felicitate our guest with a token of appreciation. Sir, now I would request you to please kindly take the dice and move forward with the discussion.
Respected principal of this Vidyalankar Institute, other faculty members, and members of the organizing committee, and the students. I'm extremely grateful to the management of the institute for inviting me to share my thoughts and some concepts and also practical aspects relating to the management education system, management students. A few minutes I'll devote for some conceptual concepts, and subsequently I'll move on to the practical aspects. Now, what are the challenges? Everybody knows challenges for the management students. Why does everybody take up this course? Most important thing is that we have to face many challenges. There are dynamic changes in business due to emerging new technologies, and also there is greater need to redefine ourselves and in our approach as well as strategies for the management education. What are the new things? What are the challenges? Basic thing is technology and innovation. They have been and they will always remain central to the production evolves and also the transforms. Entire industry is now being driven by new business model enabled by transformation and technology. I was fortunate to be a part of Tata Group. I have visited the Tata Automobiles, Tata Motors as well as Tata Steel plants. So earlier what used to happen, the mechanical, civil, other engineering used to drive the whole manufacturing process. Now it is not like that. Every single aspect and process is driven by technology, that is by computers. So everything is controlled by computers. So that is a very important thing. The business models is now driven by new business rules, new business environments. As a result of continuous technological advances and innovations, the future and the present is changing very fast. The way we conduct is changing very fast. Manufacturing has become, as I said, it has become more automated. Value chains are seamlessly connected end to end. No one person does one particular thing. Supply chains will operate on a single platform, enabling business to business integration. Analysis of data and artificial intelligence will always boost the new services in business models. What are the challenges of management education system? Now management education has entered a new phase because of the reasons I told you, because of the globalization, technology, demographies, and compelling social imperatives. So what should one do? What should the student do? He should always have a global perspective. What is happening outside the country? Within the country also you should look at outside the country what is happening globally. As an MBA or business, business in MBA, most important thing is we must develop managerial skills. That is very important. Not just becoming, just it is not just an employment. It is a managerial skills you have to develop. And managerial skill is at the bottom of the ladder. You should become a leader at the end of the ladder. Most important thing is you should also develop decision making abilities. See, one first thing is to start with, you have to follow what is already there. But subsequently, you must have you must decide what is to be done. That is important. You have to analyze what is the SWOT analysis. You know already strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Must also understand the roles and responsibility of that particular business where you are going to enter. Also equally important is the business communication. If you are not able to communicate what your findings, then the management not be able to understand what you are talking and what you have achieved. So what is the challenge before the management students? The industrial sector wants young people, young minds, who are the potential candidates who can think on their own, who can think independently, not go by the textbook or whatever presentations you have got, who can find the solutions to the business problems. That is very important. Business is facing a lot of challenges. Every day there are changes, and therefore there will be challenges. So you need to ascertain the problem and then resolve the problem. There are two things. So I will just tell you a few suggestions, because senior people like us, we always think that we can give any advice to the younger people. That is our feeling. Younger people think otherwise. They think that senior people are not good for anything, so they are giving advice. That is the practical point of it. Anyway, let us go to the key points. What should the student do? Student or at the institute should do is that they must have a sound grip on the finance or HR or whatever, marketing. So the core area you must have proper knowledge, study perfectly, whatever doubts you have got, you get it cleared, you make research. You must also have a good knowledge of the systems, that IT systems. Also have a good knowledge of the operations. What does the industry expect from when the MBS, when they come on placement? See, this is a MBA course, whatever is the course, bachelor course. It's just where we are teaching you how to swim, but you have never swum. When you go to industry, you have to actually swim. You will put into the water and then you have to swim. So this is a the acid test. You have already heard of Porter's 5 forces. That is, you have to study the market size, the challenges, bargaining point with the suppliers, the competitive forces. Also look at the macroeconomic challenges. Must be aware of the government policies. I will not go into details because lack of time. How the industry is performing, how the economy is performing, good, bad. Various regulations which are there, and the basic skills of presentation of which you are already doing. What is the role of the academia? Academia role is provide exposure to students through events or programs, not just academics, not just the books and material. Get industry experts to guest sessions and lectures, exposure to the industry. Allow them to undertake assignments and projects for companies through supervision of the college itself. Involve industry experts in the areas of their particular field. And role of industry, I'll briefly tell you, the role of industry is that it should not that only academics should do what industry also should judge about. They also have a role and responsibility. They have to work with academia for identifying trends and evolving areas that can impact the talent pool, work with the students actively and undertake independent projects, organize plant visits and knowledge sharing sessions, also proactively share insights into the emerging areas. I will now come to the role of students. As I already said, you have to develop fundamental and overall management through curriculum. That is the first thing which you are doing. Develop skills and core competencies. A bachelor in business administration, finance, HR, marketing and all, they must have their own core competencies. See, for example, chartered accountant is there. Chartered accountant will do the financial accounting, prepare balance sheet, also look up the taxation aspect. Can you replace them? No, you cannot. You will not be able to do that work. You are not expected to do that work. There's a cost accountant who will do the cost computation. Whether you can do that? No, you will not be able to do that. There's a legal professional who will look at the legal aspects, go to the court, present in the court, argue for and against. That is also not your cup of tea. Then where do you fit? Is there a qualification, MBA qualification required? Is it required for any particular type of profession? I don't think it is not prescribed anywhere. Although government people have been they have been recruiting MBA students. I am a company secretary. We have got our own skills. We have a company law, SEBI regulations, and trademark. So many other things are there. So what I suggest is, where does MBA fit in the industry? You cannot prepare the balance sheet, but what you can do, you can analyze the balance sheet. You can find out whether the company has got unsecured loans at high rate of interest. You can ask the company to advise them and take the loan, secured loans against the assets of the company, which will reduce the interest burden. Why profitability is increasing in a particular division, that you can find out. You can advise the company, you try to expand in that particular area. Why profitability is coming down in some areas? Because company will be having different multiple businesses. There must be some reasons. You must try to find out the deficiencies and try to rectify them. If not, ask them to exit that particular business. Whether company has to produce the spare parts, make its own spare parts, you find out that the cost aspect of it. If it is beneficial, you can make it, or you buy up from outside. All these important decisions can be taken by the MBA students, MBA persons who has joined the company. Although some people may say, you do not have any particular qualification for this particular work. Doesn't matter. Don't be bogged down by any criticism. Don't be bogged down by any negative feelings. You be on your path. You will definitely see success. What I find is that because of the analytical skills, there's a vast scope for the MBA students, MBAs, in financial services industry. What I feel is in banks, insurance companies, non-banking financial companies, housing finance, insurance, there's a lot of scope in there. We are yet to expand. We are the first stage. Second stage will come. There will be huge boost, and all of you will be getting equal opportunity, good opportunity to apply your skills and shine. What I find is that majority of the students, is my observation, they do not go through the newspapers, particularly Economic Times, and they do not go to the commercial journals and all those things. That is very important. You have to update yourself, because in newspaper, what will happen is that they will give some news. It's a news only. Subsequently, you can go on analyzing. So today something else will come. After 1 month, something else will come. So you have to go on collecting the data and then see what has happened to this industry. This industry was facing problem. Now what has happened? How they have rectified? How this industry was not doing well? How they have analyzed? How they have rectified? And how they have moved forward? All these kind of things you will. It will not be in the Google. Don't be under the impression that everything you will get in Google. You must go through the newspapers and technical magazines to know what is happening. The industry environment is changing, like I told you right in the beginning. You must also undertake some research projects, whether through the institutions or through on independently. You should not be afraid of a monopoly business, because sometimes we feel, this has already grown to a large extent, we have no role in that. That should not be the feeling, because I was a part of, when the second depository was started, I was a part of that process, Central Depository Services. Before us, there was NSDL. They had already moved far ahead. And everybody started questioning what is the need for a second deposit in India, like that. Many people were criticizing us. There were always doubts and concerns about the survival of the second depository. But through all these things, we studied and we became more customer friendly, of providing a viable alternative. And as a result, today CDSL has got 10 crore demat accounts, whereas the first depository has got 3.5 crore demat accounts. So that means there's always a place for the second entity, even though there is a monopoly business. So how many MBAs are there? Every year, I think, I may be wrong, I don't know, around 3 lakh MBAs are passing out every year, as against 15 lakh engineers. Everybody will ask, is there a place for me? There is a place, because we are moving towards $5 trillion economy, which will bring in huge opportunities. I will share one small instance, that is, you should not get bogged down. In 1996, Mr. Devegowda became the Prime Minister of India. What was the strength he was having? His party was having only 46 members in the Lok Sabha, which has got 540 strength. So how it was possible? It is only the mission, mission. Because of that, he became the Prime Minister. Yuktir bhavati sarvatra na vidya na cha paurusham. That is your strategy. Strategy will make you win in the corporate ladder. So it is not that you are from this institute or from that institute, or you are joined in a junior scale. It is not like that. Your performance will drive you to the top of the ladder of the corporate history. I just want to give one instance, because I worked in Konkan Railway. There were serious challenges in Konkan Railway when I started, because I was in the initial years. I was taken for doing the tax-free bond public issue. In 1992, the Prime Minister of India stopped the construction of the Konkan Railway, because we had started the construction. There was a public interest litigation in Goa area. Some NGOs started that, and as a result, this the project had to be stopped. One second. What was the objection? for construction of the railway by Goa people, Goa Foundation. They said if you construct the railway, it will damage the environment of Goa. Second was that it will damage the culture of Goa. These are the two main issues. It went to Supreme Court. I was on the legal side, so I had to brief the advocates. So we said, I mean, what I want to narrate this is that adverse circumstances, how we have to react, what is the approach that we have to take. So we told them that there will be no damage to the environment because what they were saying is that the line will pass through the areas of churches and other sluice gate, SUICE gate, sluice gates. Sluice gate means the sea water will come inside and then it will go back. Before that, that will be blocked, and for that pisciculture will be, the prawns will be cultivated in that area. So that was their idea. That was their objection. Second thing is that there's a very noble Goan culture, it will be spoiled because other people will come inside. So we said, we made a study. I was very fortunate to be involved in collecting details and giving to the advocates. We have tried to see the actual facts in some of the other countries like Italy, Iraq, France, where the historical monuments, the train is going below in the underground, those monuments, and nothing has happened. And as far as this sluice gate itself is totally, it was not a valid thing. The Supreme Court also observed it. Third important thing is that the culture. So we told the Supreme Court stating that what culture are we talking? See, the Goa people, I'm not any offense to any of the Goa people if anybody is there. What they do is they open the shop at 8 o'clock, close the shop at 12 o'clock, go for lunch. 4 o'clock again they reopen, and 7 o'clock they close. After that they have drinks and they enjoy. So I told the judge, is it the culture that we are going to protect by having Konkan Railway? No. Railway will not bother about this because even if after the railway comes and goes, they can do all these things. Nobody is going to stop it. The important thing why I'm saying all these things is that we have to create a prejudice in the name of in the mind of the judge. Then he will understand this is false. So this is what we did, and as a result of it, the Supreme Court dismissed the petition and the trains have started running. How many of you have visited Goa? Can you raise hands? Yes. Which is the capital city of Goa? It's Panjim. But is the train going to Panjim? No. Why it is not going? Because of the agitation. So it is going to Madgaon, as a result of which Madgaon came into prominence. This is the benefit which Madgaon got. One last incident I will tell you. I mean, not to belittle anybody. There was one boy, and there was one railway minister, Mr. Hanumantayya. He's from Bangalore. So when he became railway minister, one lady was working in his home. So she said, why don't you take my neighbor? He doesn't have any job as your assistant. So that boy was taken. He was very innocent and he was very honest and all. So he took. His job was only to carry the bag. He was not so much educated and things like that. Na vidyana cha paurusham. That is the thing. Subsequently, that same boy becomes a railway minister. That boy becomes the railway minister. He is Mr. Jafar Sharif. So I'm saying your strategy will win. It is not that only my MBA will do. It is not. MBA is also good, but it is important that you also must adjust yourself and see how did he become. You must have done a lot of hard work, and then you must have accumulated all the skills. So that is how he has succeeded. So this is the story for success. I'm once again grateful to all of you for giving me opportunity and patiently hearing me. And my special thanks to Mr. Uday Tardalkar, who has, we are friends, we are colleagues, and we are friends, and he has helped us. Thanks, one and all. I wish you all the best in your success.
Hello, hello. Sir has definitely set a great tone for today's panel discussion. I got a very fresh and interesting take on focusing of the challenges of the market and our future perspectives also. So talking about our panel discussion today, I feel the panel discussion will be covering the topic of marketing because marketing is a very vital topic, especially for marketing guys. You guys have to look forward for this panel discussion because marketing has is the wheel of finance and HR.
Hey, what about finance then?
Finance. Finance is essential for resource allocation, but without marketing, there is no demand. Without marketing, I don't know about your products and services. Without marketing, there is no stability. There is no financial allocation of resources. Then I feel marketing has a greater take on finance.
Well, okay, marketing may drive sale, but it's also important to remember that without the sound of perfect financial management, your marketing may lead to the sales rather than making profit. And finance ensure that the resources are used in a proper way and used in a proper investment so that your company will make profit, right? And without financial stability, even the most effective marketing strategies can become zero. Or let's put anything. But Aditya, don't you think we are missing out HR and journal management? Even they are very important part of any organization.
I feel, Shreya, our debate is never ending, but we can get our answers from our experts themselves. So let's hear it out for our first panelist.
Yeah. We have among us Mr. Prasad Kelkar. Sir has completed his financial management from JBIMS College and hold treasury and forex degree from ICFAI Hyderabad and has completed capital market course from Bombay Stock Exchange. Prasad sir has over 30 years of experience, 11 years as a vice president at ICICI Security Primary Dealership Limited and 18 years as an assistant vice president at Bank of America. Sir is now currently the director of 24 Carat Capital Market Private Limited. Sir has experience in various financial avenues. Mr. Prasad is certified trainer and regular guest speaker at various institutions and a professional writer have paper published. Sir, we are glad to have you among with us. We welcome you to the stage. Now, I request Nisha ma'am to facilitate our guests.
Thank you so much, Nisha ma'am. All right. So our second panelist for today is Ms. Shweta Apte ma'am. Ma'am has completed her post-graduation in marketing management from NMIMS. Ma'am has a work experience for more than 20 years. Ma'am has her specialization in marketing management, market research analysis, and designing marketing strategies. Ma'am is also the associate dean at International Education in Vidyalankar. Ma'am has also is in fact the CEO of Global Pathway Programs. So it's a long list of appreciations and felicitations. So now, without any further ado, I invite Ms. Tanvi Utekar, ma'am, to also felicitate our chief guest for our panel discussion. Can we have a round of applause, guys?
to the third panelist, we have with us Mr. Parag Pimple. Sir has experience in most renowned field of HR, mutual fund, insurance, and a lot more, with an overall experience of more than 23 years. Sir has completed his MMS degree from Narsi Monjay Institute of Management and LLB from Advani Gopaldas College of Law in 2010. Sir was also selected as Asia Pacific Regional Talent and was involved in various SR team projects within the Asia Pacific region. He has worked with pharmaceutical organization for over 7 years and gathered an experience of HR system. Sir, we call upon you on stage, please. I request Chitra ma'am to felicitate our guest. Moving forward to the fourth panelist, we have with us Mr. Uday Tardalkar, sir. Sir is currently the director of Rosemark Limited. Sir has experience for more than 15 years. Sir has completed his LLB from JC College of Law. He is also skilled in security, custodian service, and a lot more. Sir has also been an associate director for Alpha Group. With so many skills that he has also an expert with his primary focus on banking, corporate finance, and operation. He has an overall experience for 3 whole decades in financial services. We are looking forward to learn a lot from you today, sir. Please come on the stage. Now, I request Lakshmi Kavita ma'am to felicitate our guest.
Can we get the token of appreciation? Okay, now the time that you all have been waiting for is near. Let me call upon the moderator for today's panel discussion, Miss Lakshmi Pillai ma'am. Ma'am has an experience for more than 8 years. Ma'am has an expertise in communication. So without any further ado, I would request Lakshmi Pillai ma'am to please come on the dais and start with the discussion.
Thank you, Aditya. A very warm good afternoon to all the panelists and the audience. So before we begin, I'll just set down like the entire flow of the session. We'll first have an opening statement from each panelist for around 5 minutes. Then we'll have a discussion and then there'll be a question answer session. So I'll start with a general question for all the panelists. And I think this is kind of like what's on the back of everyone's mind, which is what is exactly waiting for students out there right now? Because there have been unprecedented technical advancements that are constantly changing the business environment. And at the same time, what happens is when there's constant changes, what can students basically do in order to gain a competitive advantage over the others? What is a world that's waiting out there when they actually start, like, fresh from the academic field right onto the corporate field? So it may start. My left, you'll have to rotate it. You can start, sir.
Ladies first, I said.
You can start.
All right, so it's the ladies first tone. So let me start. So very good afternoon to all of you, and it's always been a pleasure to interact with all the students because you are going to be the future of our country, which is moving towards a 5 trillion economy by 2027-2028. Right. My name is Shweta, and I'm just going to give you a little brief about myself. Because whenever I go to any programs or conclaves like these, there is a typical question that marketing in an educational institute is it a requirement? But then let me just give you a little bit background that in India, the higher education sector has an economy of around 6 billion US dollars. And that's been growing at the compound rate of 10% every year. So you can imagine, so 6,000 crore is the size of this higher education market in India itself. I'm not talking about anywhere outside, right? So you can imagine with this kind of growth rate in the academic sector, every institution is going to have or is going to face a competition, right? And when the institute or any organization is going to face a competition, it becomes a role of an integral role of a marketing department to make sure that the highlights of the institution is showcased and whatever the institution has said is delivered. So we basically, walk the talk, kind of a thing. So it's very, very important that you ride on the right horse, because there are so many debacles in even in the education sector also. The latest one, something like Byju's, it literally fell down like a pack of cards. So you have to ensure that even if you are into marketing in the education, you have to ride a right horse. And then there are n number of careers which I will shed light upon in the due course of this discussion. But trust me, the marketing field is a very, very interesting field. I mean, typically speaking, I usually find the people tending towards finance, tending towards HR, tending towards systems, or even the operations and supply chains. But there is a reluctance in the students to pick up marketing as their specialization at the bachelor's level, because it's been said in the market that it's a very the field which requires tremendous amount of hard work. Okay, but I would say yes, though it is true, but you need to do work with smartness. That's very essential. And that's why you would see that there have been so many opportunities in, marketing field per se, in every sector, whether it is education, whether it is, I would say, service marketing, retail marketing, financial marketing. So there is marketing word attached to every industry, right? And that's why you are going to have great futures if you plan to choose marketing as your specialization. But marketing in education, what I feel, is a kind of recession proof career. So you should definitely think of getting into the educational marketing as well. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, all of you. I hope I'm audible. Yeah, my name is Parag. Uh, Here, more than an introduction about myself, which was already given a bit, I would like to emphasize on a few points, okay, to all of you. And my request, all of us who are standing or who are sitting in Lakshadweep, come down to Goa. It is more better. Okay, pay some attention, okay, to the experts who are come here, and let us listen to all of us. It will be quite helpful for your careers. Like how some of the panelists and the keynote speakers have spoken, there are a few things which I also reflect. When I was sitting like a student, in my college back in 2000, passing out, there were so many fields today which are booming, which are the big sector employment sectors, were not even present. Telecom, retail, um, most of this sector, the BFSI sector, okay, pretty small. So over a period of time, you see a lot of change coming in. Okay, every few years, like today, the buzz is all about AI. No, we keep speaking and learning Excel. No one excels in Excel. No, we learn PowerPoint. We don't have any power. We don't have any point to make. Okay, we do a lot of Word documents on Word, and we don't know a lot of words. Okay, so as they say, that you need to keep changing. You need to keep learning. Okay, so my request, point number one to all of you, is that uh, keep seeing the world around you. Sir spoke about reading newspapers. Okay, doing analysis. My request to all of you is that every point of time, take a pause. Okay, see, is there change happening around you? What is the change happening within you? And what is the change that you would like to finally accept, adopt, skill it over, and which could be the need of tomorrow. Point number two, I spoke about words. Okay, And I understand that all of you know cricket, and they say that catches win matches, right? So in the corporate sector, they say that words will make you win the world. Okay, it's so important for all of us to understand what to speak, where to speak, okay, how much to speak, and what is the point that you're trying to make, what is the content. Okay, this will only come through a lot of practice, a lot of experience, a lot of observing, listening, practicing on a regular basis. Okay, my father once told to me that if you give this 2 years to yourself, the next 20-30 years will be all good. He keeps saying that every year when I passed out in various stages from primary, secondary, and then to MB also. But I reflect upon and I see this, that these are not extensions of any course. Okay, these are not extensions of any subjects that you learn year after year. Okay, you need to dedicate, okay, yourself in such a manner that you really grasp what is really required over there. So that will give you the competence in using the right words and creating the world for you. The third thing that I want to tell you all of us about is about discipline. And what does discipline mean? Not about adhering to timelines, okay, or not just about shaving or wearing nice clothes, or respecting a certain time. Discipline is a lot more. Discipline means the basics of management. It's all about how do I plan, okay, what do I take a note of what I have done till now, what I need to do I have my goals, and am I following my goals? Okay, do I walk my goals? Okay, do I know what I'm required to do I take efforts, pains, all of that? So I would urge all of you to have your own statement of discipline, to understand what is self discipline when it comes to your careers, your goals, okay, and then following it up ruthlessly, okay, and living by it. The next thing that I would like to tell you is about the statement that you are making is connecting and building bridges. You'll see a lot of bridges built around when I came also. But what does actually connecting and bridging means? Okay, and which is very important for you to, if you look at your phases of careers, you know and I truly see this, that if you carefully plan in terms of connecting more, networking more, okay, talking to people on subjects what you have read, what you have understood, what you have not understood, taking your own efforts about it, engaging with people, and trying to walk the next mile. I think the connect and engage skills within you will help you to reach goals faster in yourself. So these are the 4 or 5 things that I see are important. Okay, and the last but not the least point that I thought is all about that you guys are doing management. Okay, and you would see that I am an HR person, but no, I am not an HR person. Okay, and I can tell you I'm a business person. Okay, and a lot of times you have to understand this, that whether because we are all going to be working in some corporates whose final aim is to do business. Okay, business is all about making profits, achieving top lines, doing growths, okay, in a certain quality consciousness, cost consciousness, okay, and in a certain manner. So it is important to be a business person first. Whether you are a finance guy, whether you are a marketing guy, whether you are an HR guy, operations guy, or an IT guy, or whatever you are. Okay, it's important to understand what is business, which means that you will need to know what are the industries, what are the sectors, how does the business happen, where does the business happen, what is required for the business happening to happen. So connect the forend and the back end, understand the business first, and then be an expert of whichever field you want to be, but be an expert on business first. So that's few things that I thought I should kind of steer up when I speak on introduction about myself. Thank you.
Hello. Am I audible? Um, I just wanted to know, whether you want that you should work only for 6 years or 60 years. No answer from your side? 6 years. So that means, you need to work hard. I mean, where you are today. Because for next 6 years, if you work hard, you will live your life easily for next 60 years. Or it's the other way around. If you don't work hard today, you will have to work hard. Really, you will have to, uh, go day in and day out to earn money. So 6 years are very less in number. So start working hard. Don't think only that that you want to learn and get numbers in the final mark sheet, but think learn from the point of view that if you go in the industry tomorrow, how will this I'll use it for, where I'll use it for. So practicability is the most important thing. There are a lot many things, when we are learning geography or history or even economics today, we do not understand why we are doing this. For example, in our financial field, whenever we talk about inflation today, I mean, you people while reading it, you would have directly read, inflation only, you know, anything getting at a higher cost tomorrow. That's it. But why it happens, you should know that. Or, where is the impact of this inflation in the economy, whether it is Indian economy or the Asian economy or the US economy or European economy. Because there are a lot of impacts which happens outside the book. So read from that point of view. So that is my first point I would like to tell you. Second is any degree whichever you take, whether it is BFM or BBI or BAF or even engineering or medicine, that will only give you an entry to the corporate world, nothing else. I mean, if you are thinking that you have achieved everything post your degree, I am sorry, that won't be there. Because finally what will happen is you will have to work hard, you will have to show your caliber, you will have to show the capacity or capability what you have, and then only you get promoted, or you will be rewarded financially. This is my second point. Third point is always have a holistic view. As I said, economics is related to the economy. Inflation is related to the economy. The interest rate. How many of you do watch CNBC? You would have seen there are policies which comes up, right? And people talk about interest rates. Correct. I mean, how are they linked with each other? Have you ever tried to analyze that? I don't. I mean, people see it that interest rates are increasing, but why and when? So if you analyze that, you will come to know that interest rates are indirectly related to inflation, and this indirectly is related to your savings and your investments and your borrowings tomorrow. So whenever an interest rate increases in the industry, what happens is your deposit rate also gets increased, and your lending rate, I mean the bank's lending rate, the money which you borrow will also be increased. So this is how it will impact your financial position as well tomorrow. Inflation indirectly will also impact you, because if inflation is suppose 6% and if you are earning 7%, do you feel you are on the positive side of the curve because you are earning more, right? But that's not so, because you haven't deducted your TDS at that time. Your income will be taxable, right? So your income has to be deducted, tax has to be deducted from your gross gains, and then the net gain which happens, that will be compared against the inflation rate. And if that is more than inflation, that means that you are in earning good enough to beat the inflation. Otherwise, no. So that is how it is. So I mean, have an holistic view where whenever or wherever in whichever corporate you go to, try to understand what the corporate does, try to understand which business they are into, try to understand the various departments they are into. For example, a bank having a treasury department has have different sections as such. For example, foreign exchange department, or securities department, money market department. Now how are these interlinked? So these are interlinked. That's the reason they are into the treasury department at any given point of time. So understand that why it is there at one place, how they are linked to each other. For example, if I'm buying dollar rupee, okay, if I'm buying dollar, I need to give out rupees, right? I'll have to pay rupees. So whenever I pay rupee, I'll have to fund that rupees from somewhere else. So I borrow money from my money market instruments. So money market gives me funds. I invest it into dollars. I get dollars. I sell it in future, so I get rupees again, and I again give it back to the money market desk for that forward date, so that my balance sheet also tallies as far as dates are concerned. So this is how it is interlinked to each other. So have the holistic view. See, I mean, if you are learning productivity management, or the statistics, or anything related to management, all these are interlinked to each other. So try and understand how they are interlinking to each other, and how it can be utilized when you go out in the corporate world. So that's the point. Know your strength. Everybody has their own strength, that, like Sachin Tendulkar, he has his own strength in batting. If everybody knows, he actually went out for some Lily's foundation, where bowlers are being picked up, and he was thrown out of that place, because people thought that he was not, his height was not good enough to go in for a as a pace bowler. So subsequently, he concentrated on batting, and I mean, who he is today. So it is that, know your strengths and understand what strengths do you have. If you have mathematical strengths, like, concentrate on that and be a perfectionist in that. So that is what Three Idiots also shows us, that be a perfectionist man. So that's it from my side for as of now. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, this is the time we are looking for some transition. And first of all, apology for me coming late here. My senior, Mr. Umesh Maskari, I listened to him part of his speech, and I'm going to carry something from his speech as well to take this forward. There are a lot of discussions from my fellow panelists, so little only is left to me to speak. But I just want to have your attention to the uh, danger in coming year to the first row sitting here, not to the students. The first row, the majority are faculties, and I'm talking about the NEP. The kind of things coming up in the coming years with the NEP getting implemented. All of you know what is NEP, right? Sure. So you know what is the budget which is likely to come in the coming year for NEP? It's going to be something of 1 lakh crore. Imagine the focus that government is looking into for the purpose of education. So this is what we are looking for, and we are discussing HR, management, finance. All that will come from education only, basically. So in that context, the panelists discussed that with AI be getting outdated step by step. So real focus which is coming to technology now. Every company is becoming a technology company doing some business. So that's the kind of intricacies that we need to have. And there's always horses for courses. Uh, Mr. Maskari gave a few examples of the failures or the people who came up from the adversity. You know what is the current topic being discussed? HP in and RM out. You know anything? Any guesses? Any cricket lovers here? Yes? What is it? HP in and RM out. Anyone? Speak loudly. Who is RM? Rohit Sharma. Who is HP? Hardik Pandya. So even the best performer is out. Learn the lesson. Forget about the failures. The best performer is out. Who is leading the country, but is not leading the franchise. So this is the lesson that you need to really learn from adversities, how you really have to come out. And even if you are not a leader, still you have to manage. So that's life for you. So even if you perform, you get 100%. You when you go to the next step, you may not be selected. I'll share my experience. Recently, I was on the panel of one of the leading cooperative banks on this Saturday, Sunday. We interviewed 65 people for the roles of DGM, AGM, that kind of thing. And the management told us that we'll be very happy if you pick up 15 from 65. So imagine the failure rate, what management is expecting. And we managed to pick up something around 10. So from 65, people fail. Imagine the ratio. Only one person was elected from 10, from 6, sorry, from 10. So that's the preparation what you need to get into corporate world. And just to borrow from his speech, if you really want to excel, you have to use the right word in your point. That is PowerPoint presentation. That's the road for your success and excel. So that is how you have to prepare yourself to get into this. And when we talk about this technology, how you equip with that. But let me tell you, there are some people who, or the students attitude, I'll tell you, they don't open up. You can check with Nisha ma'am or Punam ma'am for that matter. They don't speak, right, madam? When the questions being asked. And what is the core, what you can say, the word used for that is modesty. Correct? They are modest, we talk. No, it's not that way. Let me tell you one famous quote that the day modesty was recognized as virtue, it was a great day in the life of idiots. Why? Because they were treated at par with genius. So you decide whether you want to be modest and not to come forward. Unless you become active, as he rightly said, the holistic approach is required. And if that is not taken forward, you'll remain back and maybe you will be one of the 9 who won't get selected in the interview. So it's how you prepare yourself for that. So that's the success basically that you need to have and excel. Thank you from my side.
Thank you so much to all the panelist members. So, like based on your opening statements, I've got a few words. I've got a few words such as learning. I've got words such as technology and AI. So, coming to the first term that we have in common with all of us in our discussions is what exactly is the role of generative AI when it comes into the fields of HR, marketing, finance? How is AI going to help us in sort of like sourcing candidates, helping actually screen candidates, assisting with onboarding, payrolls, etc. So this is specifically for HR and additionally for other fields as well. How do you think that AI is basically changing? What are the new trends that is coming because of generative AI?
So thank you for that. And let me tell you that AI is already under use with many companies, not just in HR, but across the various processes within the business. And HR is no different because a lot of ease through AI is something which has been. So where it is currently used, if you want to understand, is all about onboarding, recruitment, and having an employee experience, which is more important. And thereafter, to kind of gather people, communicate with them, connect with them, and engage with them. These are the areas. But AI today is in the nascent stage. Like how many people have accepted AI, there are many companies who are yet to accept because of the kind of cost and spread that it is required to kind of adhere. But yes, tomorrow's world, whether it comes to a click of a button, when you can't really go through 250 mails, okay, when you can't really at the same point of time attend various meetings, okay, AI can attend for you and you can go through it in the time after the meeting. So at the same point of time, if there are multiple meetings happening, okay, you can actually understand the gist of it at the end of the meetings. Okay, when you are required to connect to a lot of candidates at one point of time, okay, you can actually do screening, you can do selections to a certain stage, you can interact through the AI technology. After having done the selection, like how we mentioned of the ratio of 6.5 is to 1, and thereafter the second round 10 is to 1 for someone getting selected, this would even be larger. He was talking of the positions of AGM and DGM, but look, imagine the positions which are on the field, and you have to do the hiring across the spectrum and length of breadth of the country for various channels, for various roles, and the number of people who are available. So AI does play a great role in terms of easing off the work profile through technology means. And adoption is the only way. Okay, when it comes to onboarding, you engage with people, you're talking about connect and engage, and personally, while engagement is way different, but AI also sets a certain level of ground. So that's where AI is. This is the stage where I am seeing AI today, but I do not know everything. And maybe what I'm talking today may not make as much of sense Okay, by the time you guys pass out and start your first corporate jobs, because it will ever keep changing. Okay, the adoption will be at much higher level, the learning understanding will be even much different, so that so the implementation will be even much different. So it is changing so fast, and I think all of us need to understand one basic thing, is whether it is AI used in a particular field, okay, of HR or other fields. Okay, we need to understand technology, we need to keep ourselves open to understanding what is the technology, what are the various technologies, where all it could be used, how can we really understand it, read it, adopt it, accept it, and keep trying it, not worrying on the failures of it. So that's what I think.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll direct the same question to Kelkar sir as well. Like, how do you think generative AI will help when it comes to financial planning, assessment, and also planning when it comes to investment management, etc.?
Understand that AI is a sort of it basically it tells you or it gives the output based on the inputs which it receives. Okay, now if you have given certain criterias to the computer, it will throw out the answer to you. So, for example, as far as financial planning is concerned, if XYZ's age is around 30 years, he earns around 1 lakh rupees. Okay, his risk appetite is, say, so from 1 to 10, his risk appetite is 7. Okay, now if we put in all these figures into the computer, okay, and based on that, if the program is written that based on this permutations and combinations, this is how the investment pattern should come out to be, whether it is in mutual funds or equity or debt markets, or any of the financial instruments which are there or available in India right now. So I mean, AI can be used anywhere. That is one thing. Again, in equity markets, I mean, I'm giving example of equity markets very often because I mean, everybody of today's generation are more lean towards equity markets because of fast money, right? So this equity markets can be like money making machine, provided AI is with you. Now what happens, when you actually punch in the order, you take the order, you open your user ID okay, then you log in into that, then you select which stock to be purchased, then you punch in the order, then your stock will get selected, and then it will get matched, and then the trade will happen. But if AI is there, and if you have already coded that particular computer with those particular permutations and combinations, that if this happens in the market or for a particular stock, if it goes below this price, go and just buy it for me, it will automatically buy it for you. So the time wastage doesn't happen, and once the time wastage doesn't happen, what you get, get to gain is you invest at the right price. Correct. And because you invest at the right price, when you sell it, obviously, I mean, most of the guys will make profits out of that. So this is how AI will help you in the financial world as well.
And I'd like to direct the same question to Uday sir and Shweta ma'am as well about the role of AI in general management as well as marketing.
On a lighter note, I would like to tell that people sitting on this side are not selected by AI, right? Correct? So still there is a scope for non-AI kind of a things in this world, right? Talking about AI, a lot of things keep coming out. Like we always thought that writing a poem is an individual act, correct? We get a lot of poems now from AI. Let me just go back to almost 25 to 26 years back. I have that one Times of India editorial cut, and it's with me, where the two people from US, they had analyzed all the poems of the world. Okay, that time I still have that cutting, and they came up with a very bold conclusion that the at till that time, whatever poems were written, they had analyzed, and of course they were doctorate themselves in literature, and they came to a conclusion that except for William Shakespeare, it was all AI of the rest of the poems. So that time AI was not used, but they said that it's a combination of words, including the greats like William Wordsworth or whoever. So they said that it's a combination of words as far as their contribution to the literature is concerned, but only Shakespeare, he had the originality. You can imagine they made such a bold statement, and it was even AI was not even heard of that time. So this is that means the work is already done for ages, and we are just labeling that as AI, what I want to drive. And if 25 years back somebody could conclude that, and still the natural instinct still prevail, so there is nothing to worry that AI would get invaded in our lives and we will lose originality. There is nothing like that. I just want to tell you one incident. We have the conversion of languages happening. It wasn't so, say, 10, 20 years back. It happened in United Nations speech once, where the Japanese speaker, while he was speaking, he made a wonderful statement. It was a joke in a lighter vein, and the interpreter actually missed it. So, but he had a presence of mind. So what he said to everyone who was listening, of course the non-Japanese guy, he said, applause and laughter for all of you for a good joke. And everybody laughed and they gave applause. So that's why still there are views and the ways where we as a human beings can actually overpower the AI. So that's the few things I want to point out. Thank you.
Yeah, so coming back to AI in marketing, as far as I know and I have experienced, let me just tell you all that little bit from the technical perspective that what AI is. Uh, you can understand that AI is similar, sometimes these terms are used in common, so artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science. Right? So these are the three terms which are usually talked together when we talk about artificial intelligence. When any particular program is written, based on the substantial data sets to train the machine to behave in a particular manner, and it gives you the output. That's basic. And those outputs, when it is generated by the machine, will help you in making the decisions. So at this point of time in the field of marketing, there are models, there is machine learning happening where there are models which are in a position to tell you that, all right, if this is going to be my data set in next 5 years, this is how the market trends will change. And based on that, probably the department of marketing will be able to make their strategies. But I still feel that the role of AI in marketing field is limited to marketing analytics only, for a very simple reason that marketing is very, very relatable or relevant, or it's directly dealing with the consumers and their emotions. So till date, I haven't seen any mathematical model which has started expressing the emotions, because a lot of things, a lot of decisions in terms of marketing is taken because of the emotional values. Say for example, if we think about Tata Nano, okay, it failed, right? Why did it fail? If you read the if you read the case study for it, the major reason which they ultimately showcased is the brand positioning. Tata Nano was positioned as a car for the poor, and at the same time, the car which was there in the competition was, I think, Suzuki or Maruti Alto, right? Maruti 800, Maruti Alto. The Alto sales went on through the roofs because it was positioned as an aspirational car. The person who wants to buy his first car doesn't want to be called a car of a poor person. He want to aspire from, a stage to the higher stage. So of course there are going to be implementations of AI in marketing as well, but I think that's yet restricted towards marketing analytics. Again, marketing analytics is a huge career. So people who are good at statistics, people who are good at machine learning, you can learn that as an additional skill. You need not be an IT grad to learn data science. You can do your certification programs and become the data scientist and make the career in marketing analytics as well. Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know that there's something called management by change, which you must be learning into your curriculum. So AI is nothing but it's a change in our life from what we were there yesterday to what we are today. So similarly, you will keep seeing different types of AIs in future as well. I mean, 5 years down the line or a decade down the line, maybe something again down the line. But I mean, keep expecting different types of AIs into your life, which will change your lives as well as your future generation life. So, I mean, I think you should uh, look and direct yourself in such a way that you are equipped well to handle all those AIs and whichever hurdles comes into your life, by way of different changes. So accept the change, go for the change, and I mean, everybody cannot attain mastery in all the subjects, but yes, what I feel is, jack of all for today is much better than master of one.
Thank you for that interesting insight. There is this one term that has gained a lot of currency recently, which is DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And do you really think it's a thing right now in the corporate world? I mean, it's there in academia already. We're having workshops to sensitize students to DEI. Is it something that's something that we've borrowed from the West, because India is already a multicultural society? So is DE&I an actual thing that is needed in offices? How is it actually working out in the corporate world? We would really like your insight on that.
Yeah, so quite an interesting topic: diversity, equality, and inclusion. See, my views are as such that a lot of when I talk about gender diversity, okay, and when we see historically, okay, the woman has to actually walk through a lot of difficulties. Life is, I would say, full of landmines. When you're walking through a career, whether it is pre-marriage, post-marriage, marriage or not marriage, so there are a lot of landmines, I would say. Okay, and that's the reason when you compare it to the West, whereas what has been the corporate history for us, okay, especially the core sectors, okay, that is the reason it was not there. But today, with the growing fields of work that is really required, I feel that the acceptance is pretty high. There are a lot of advantages, okay, when you talk about especially gender diversity. You bring a lot of diverse culture, you bring a lot of viewpoints which are different, you see styles of working which are different within the genders for various roles. Compliance is adherence to certain culture, okay, is pretty high, and that's why advocating a diverse culture is pretty important and critical. So today, most of the organizations you see hover over from what is 15% to 25% kind of a mix of diversity. Whereas when you talk of West, it could be as high as something from 55% to 75%. With the women gender would be working higher than as a mix as compared to the male gender in many industries or many companies. At least certain roles are very much aligned to the sector of diversity. But what I see is important is developing a culture, okay, in the corporates, in the branches, okay, in various roles, okay, and breaking myths of what can be done by a woman and what cannot be done, and this is only a male job. Okay, there are a lot of these myths, and I can give an example of, I have worked with a company called SGFC Ergo, okay, which is a general insurance company doing motor claims, okay, or motor business, okay. And when you say claims come in, a lot of claims come in where a motor gets dashed, and then you go to a garage, okay, and the claims person is required to visit the garage and assess whether the claim is right, wrong. And the claims head used to always say this, that to the HR, that no, there cannot be women working, who can actually go for a survey in a garage. Okay, this was a myth. Over a period of time, the same company, okay, identified people who could be experts on doing surveys on the field, and they established a separate claim surveying team, only female team. Okay, so various such myths have been broken in the past. Today, you see whether it's the petrol pump, whether it is in the army, whether it is any difficult job that is there. Okay, women's are working. Okay, so it is important that all sorts of, not just the gender, okay, but all sorts of inclusions are required. One, because it can bring a lot of change. Okay, it can see a different view, okay, than what has been the constant view for several years. Okay, there needs to be a culture there where you accept, because all of us have been brought up in different cultures. Okay, but we are friends, we come together, we learn together, we understand, we connect. Okay, and we admire over a period of time as to what is good, and we take and learn from them, and that's how we develop ourselves. Similarly, in corporates, it's important to have an inclusive culture. Okay, accept, okay, learn from it, and make people feel comfortable in such culture and learn. That will lead to a lot of myths getting break, that will lead to a lot of new ideas coming in, a lot of stability, and then 2 plus 2 coming as 11, and building up over there. So that's why the entire DNI, is not just about the gender, but also about entire inclusive behavior. That's how what sir said, that the culture of Goa. Okay, now it could be better because you're accepting all the sorts of thought processes, people, their views. Okay, and then helping mutually both ends to kind of grow and develop. And that's what I see the entire DNI is all about. The advantage of DNA is all about that it can lead you to accepting and growing multifolds by accepting that kind of a culture. That's my view.
Thank you, sir. Uday, sir, what is your take on the same topic as well?
I think we have come a long way in this, what I can say, the word non-discrimination. If you recollect story of Miss Sudha Murthy, wife of Nandan, Dr. Murthy, when she was employed in telco in the 80s, there were no toilets for ladies then. And there was a lot of reluctance for her to recruit. From there, now we are in an era where calling ladies and gentlemen will be a history, because that is gender bias. You have to call hello everybody. That is going to come very soon. So that's the journey what we have seen. Of late also we find that there are a lot of recruitments happening for transgenders, and also the directives have come just a day before from the government in this area. So the inclusiveness is not just we talk about the disparity between the rich and the poor, or urban, semi-urban, or rural, not kind of thing, and not at all about the gender. So we have come a long way in that respect, and in the coming years, that will definitely continue to happen. And this is probably because of the what you have is the opportunities coming up to you, because the world has become so small because of the technology. So there is hardly anything like, to quote Prime Minister, that we always called Bangalore as a Silicon Valley of India. But if you look at the unicorns coming up, the least unicorns are coming up from Bangalore. It's coming from outside. So that shows the inclusive growth across the nation. It's no more a monopoly of few, the metros or major cities. So that's the change which is happening.
Sir. I would like to direct the next question to Kelkar, sir. Both the keynote speaker as well as you have mentioned about, continuously learning and, preparing for 6 years so that you're ready for the next 60 years, as you mentioned. And we have spoken about what exactly we can expect, once we step in as fresh graduates into the industry. But what does the industry expect from, students, especially in the world of finance? What is it exactly that they should be equipped with when they enter the industry?
The first and foremost thing is, when you prepare your CV, be fair to yourself. Don't just copy paste from Google. And I have seen many students just coming up and giving me the CV saying that I have done this. But when I ask questions, they are like sitting blank face in front of me. That should not happen. First of all, I mean, that's very important, because you actually disappoint the person who is talking to you, and you are wasting his time. So I mean, never ever do that. So I mean, you will be rejected at the first instance itself. Secondly, what you need to do is, once you have prepared your CV, talk to them very frankly. In the sense, if they are asking you questions and if you don't know something, tell them that you don't know, you are not aware of that. You will go and just search for it and get back to you. I mean, don't worry. I mean, nobody is going to judge you because of one wrong answer. What the interviewer most of the times looks with you is whether you are genuine or not. Secondly, what they'll see is whether you are going to stay for a longer time with the organization or not. Secondly, how dedicated you will be there subsequently, because whatever your dedication was there up till the college level or up till the graduation or post graduation level, that will be different altogether. And once you step in into the corporate world, it will be different altogether, because मजा मस्ती तो रहने वाला है, but that doesn't mean that you will have only that throughout 24 hours of your day. Most of the time you will spend working, and maybe 90% of you will not land up in the job which you like tomorrow. 10% only will get that type of job, but 90% will have to survive in the environment which they may not be liking it. But remember one thing, the employer will never change for you. You will have to change as per the employer. So accept whatever is there and go ahead, because once you accept it, then you start loving those things, and once you start loving those things, you will actually go deep into the organizational structure and the whatever the products of the companies are, and then you will start learning that. And once you start learning that, you will get knowledge, and once you get knowledge, you will automatically be acknowledged by the management. I mean, it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So please remember that this is what it is. We do not expect, and especially with today's generation is very much impatient. If if you do not get, suppose if you have joined somewhere in the mid year, and April the bonus times, or if your increment time comes, and if you don't get increment, you will be like again going to the management and cribbing about it. That should not happen. Have patience. I'll tell you, in my life of 30 years, there were 14 years, 7 years each, twice, when I did not get even single promotion. Most of the years I got increment not more than 5%. But still I'm here today. So patience will pay you. You show the management your eagerness to be there, eagerness to learn, eagerness to be with them whenever they require you, not whenever you want them. So all these things will matter into your life. So that's what I mean, your CV, starting with your CV. That is what it is. Be fair enough and go and give your all heart out.
Thank you, sir. Since you just mentioned about the current generation, I would like to ask a question to Shweta ma'am. So India currently boasts around 116 million shoppers, and around 40% of them are basically Gen Z, who 40% of urban consumers are basically Gen Z. So what kind of trends do you feel are developing or are going to develop when it comes to marketing towards this specific category of people?
Very good question. I mean, I have been dealing with Gen Z only for all 20 years of my marketing career. What I have realized over past 3 years, or I would say post COVID, there has been a substantial change in the purchasing behavior of the Gen Z. So what do I mean by that? People, as sir said, they want quick rewards. So if you invest 10 rupees, from probably in the next 6 months you want 100 out of it, but that doesn't always happen. So the challenge for us as a marketing personnel, that how your product can be consumed by this Gen Z, digested by the Gen Z, and then still have the rewards after that. So as sir rightly said, that it's a matter of patience. But you know in my career, when I interviewed candidates for the marketing jobs, what I always have looked into the CV is, what skills do you have? You study sales management, you study marketing management, you study research methodologies, but after studying all of this, what skill have you acquired? So the jobs, today's jobs are absolutely built on the skills that you have acquired during your academic career. Say, for example, what I would look in an marketing professional is the commitment. And commitment is not something, you can really showcase, but it emits when you speak. Your commitments towards your work, the commitment towards your society. There are a lot of things by which you can showcase that. Another thing which generally the Gen Z typically feel that is everything that you purchase basically should be showcased, on some or the other social media platform, whether it is Instagram, probably earlier it was Snapchat, then the Facebook. But trust me, you are living in an illusional world. That's all fake. Person who is going to put a like to your uh, post probably is not going to like that if you have worn a Veromoda outfit. Okay, so there is going to be a sense of jealousy. So always remember that rather than living in a illusion world, you live in the realistic world. And that's why the marketing strategies which usually are successful is something which is going to tell you the truth. Okay, a sustainable truth. And those are the products which will be consumed. And that has been my experience over this 20 years. You make a lot of commitments, you under deliver, those products do not become successful. So have a steady growth, but then that growth will stay for the organization, organic growth that will stay for the organization for a longer period. Your success of marketing campaigns is not based on how much it is being viral. So it is based on how much it has been consumed. So you generally, when we do a digital marketing, so there is another career in marketing. So when we do digital marketing, rather than seeing the viral percentage, we see the engagement percentage on the posts and what is the level of engagement. That gives you real feedback whether your product has been consumed, it has been liked, it has been disliked. Okay, so through my every answer, probably I'm going to shed light upon the different marketing careers which you can do. So digital marketing, social media marketing, email marketing, these are all careers which you can imagine in the marketing field. Okay.
Just to add something, there are careers and there are people who provide careers. Okay, and I see, all of whom who are sitting over here, some of you may offer jobs in future. Only the difference will be, how you are thinking. By 2047, our government says that a lot of people will move from what they are today in terms of what they possess. Okay, whether it is housing, whether it is insurance, whether it is bank for everyone. Okay, and a lot of aspects. We mentioned about the Gen Z being a certain population. Even if you see for the next 23 24 years, by the time you would have picked out in your career, okay, either you are at a level where you are decision making, okay, or at a level where you are actually influencing a lot of these decisions. Okay, so it is important for all of you to actually hold on to what sir mentioned over here in terms of reading, taking interest in certain areas, and identify for yourself some 10 areas. And every time a news comes around that, whether you're seeing it, you're reading documentaries, you're going through certain reports, or you're reading newspapers, identify for yourself which are your areas that you want to, like how sir mentioned about your strengths. You identify your strengths area, or think of which areas that you want to gain your strengths on. Okay, and develop your insights and understanding over there. By 2047, okay, there will be a lot of change between what you're thinking today to what you can offer tomorrow. Okay, and how you can change. And the entire country, which is a market today, okay, and you all guys, okay, you and all those guys, who are there, whether it is in the urban area or it is not in the urban area, there is a lot of scope for us to prosper. So I'm sure that business, marketing, finance, or all the careers, there's a lot of scope, as long as you determine within you what is what you want to walk the path further.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Uday, sir, you are a corporate trainer as well. So, how important do you think soft skills are for graduates, apart from the regular technical skills that students as it is learned through the course of their program?
I would basically try to divide an organization before I come to the soft skills. Uh, we find a lot of placement opportunities coming up, and there are least number of students who want to get into sales or marketing. Right, madam? Why so? Remember there that, like Prasad sir told, that in terms of your own CV, you have to sell yourself. It starts from there. And if you really look that kind of a attitude where you want to have a cozy job, it's not going to be there in the long run. So that's the thing you need to remember. And any of you want to become a CEO or a MD in 24 years down the line? Raise your hands. How many? Here. Okay. Yeah, he's already MD, I think, of his own company. Please come. He's an entrepreneur basically, so he takes a lot of interest in that activities. What point I want to drive here is you look at the positions held by top people. I'm talking about CEOs, MDs. They say that leadership is what? Action, not position. And if you want to really go get into that, you need to have what we call as you need to have a basic person from the front office and not back office. A person who is from front office always become a CEO or MD. You can check all the MDs and CEOs across industries. You will find very few examples, may not be more than 5%. So from that context, you want to sell yourself. So you want to get into what? You want to get into the other side of the story and not this side, and that's how you can excel. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think we can start taking questions from the audience. Is there anyone who would like to direct questions to the panelists? Please raise your hand and we'll get a mic across to you. This is a good opportunity to ask questions to people who are from the industry. It's not likely that you meet such people every day who've got a vast set of experiences.
Any questions from the back? Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm from marketing specialization, so I want to dedicate my question to the ma'am, Shweta ma'am. So we have been writing a copyright article. So my topic is: are Bollywood celebrities losing the oomph that social media influencers are bringing? So I wanted a suggestion from your side. Like, is it true or is it
Suggestion onto
it's a bit like, what do you think about
how
it?
to push your
Yeah.
right. With respect to marketing, I mean that comes under the category of digital marketing. Okay. Of late, what we have observed that the most content which has been consumed by audience is realistic content, and that's why probably these micro influencer, or all those types of influencer have come into the picture, because they are uh, showcasing, or they are relaying their real life stories. What we usually have or see in terms of the Bollywood personalities, it is kind of, as I always say, it is an illusion. Can you and me become Madhuri Dixit? We can't. So everything which Madhuri Dixit does probably will not hold true for us. So that's why this influencer marketing absolutely has gained an attraction. You can see there are some influencers like Shraddha. She always talks on the topics which are the problems of current generation, whether they are parents, whether they are students, whether they are any consumer, but a current dated problem. So if you want to publicize or push your article or a paper on social media, please use something which is very very relevant, which is very very true, and then you can use the digital marketing techniques like remarketing, retargeting. But then you'll have to learn about that, because somebody who sees you. What do you mean by remarketing or retargeting? Is someone who looks at your article, probably wherever he will go, your robot, will follow his footsteps. So that's how you will be able to gauge the performance, or you will be able to gauge the life cycle of that consumer. So use these kinds of tricks, tips, by which there will be more views of the relevant people, and that can be set by your social media analytics, where you can identify the age group which you want to target, the geography which you can target, the demographics that you want to target, and based on that you can set up your target to push your content to the relevant audience. And once they consume it, it will automatically be shown on the top of the many articles which will be in the similar space. So that's a whole, basically digital marketing gamut, uh, where there are a lot of things, interesting things which you can actually explore. I hope I answered your question, right? Okay.
Sure.
You know the successful bankers in India? You heard about KV Kamath? Yes? You heard about Mr. Aditya Puri, who recently retired from HDFC Bank? Mr. Aditya Puri never used mobile phone. You know that? And HDFC Bank is number one in the private sector. So that you can draw a line from that.
Okay, next question, please.
Here, ma'am. Good afternoon to our esteemed panelists. My question is also directed to Shweta, ma'am. As a marketing student, what I've taken away from today's entire discussion is that somewhere or the other, AI is setting foot in all the areas. So, in terms of marketing, what according to you are jobs or skill sets that AI cannot touch, and we have our control completely over it?
Right. As I mentioned to you, it's very important to understand that marketing is more relatable, or marketing is more towards the emotion of a person. Okay. And till date, I have not seen any robot which can replicate, which can duplicate the emotions of the human, and that is where that is one area. For example, now my experience has completely been academics. I have seen most of the advisory positions in academics are dominated by female employees. Why? Because females that way have a natural tendency of accommodating, adapting, counseling, guiding, and that's why you will see these positions dominated by female. So wherever I would see a product is very related or relatable to human emotions, AI will not be at this point of time able to touch. So in terms of marketing, of course the strategies can be derived by the help of the marketing analytics, which can be generated by models which are already existing data science models. But then when it comes to sales, you cannot generate sales by automation. You need a human interact, you need a human intellect, and you need the understanding of human behavior or consumer behavior to sell your product. So sales, I think, is very, very human intensive. So I have not seen many models that have generated automated sales other than the secondary sales. Say for example, I have purchased some product of some, say I have purchased Hyundai car. Okay, Hyundai can retarget their secondary products to me because I'm already their existing customer. I have already generated that faith in them. So the secondary sales can be generated through AI, but the first instance sales is very, very human intensive. That's why you will see so many sales personnel or sales vacancies in every field, finance, HR, because ultimately when I'm, I mean, you can add it to that, when I'm trying to source a person, the HR person has to talk. Ultimately HR person has to sell the organization to the prospective candidate. So in every field, if you see, sales is going to be an integral part which still cannot be replaced by AI, or yet not replaced by an AI.
Let me just add a few things over there. One, we talked about AI and there have been questions around AI. But let me tell you that technology is more of a support. Okay. From what I probably, maybe I'm wrong about it, but let me just ask you, most of your mothers would be using phones today, which are most of your maids are using phones today, okay, which are all touchscreen phones. Okay, most of you would be using payments through UPIs. Okay, most of you use a lot of technology when you reserve book, okay, or order things, okay, right? All of you, uh, things which will be touched by AI or by technology. I don't know whether you are using ChatGPT. Okay, we're interacting with a lot of bots today on various platforms. Okay, and they will come where we will all be using AI also. Okay, which means that technology is something which will play a certain role. Okay, but we are not supposed to be afraid about it. That what career do I choose which will keep me away out of it? Okay, what is important is that how do I accept? Okay, the strength of our country and our culture is being flexible. Okay, a lot of countries see Indian market because we adapt to the change pretty faster. Okay, all our IT professionals across the world are there because they adopted technology faster. Not just IT, I would say, various fields. Okay, we would want to penetrate across the length and breadth of our fellow country people through technology, and that's how we can generate a lot of it. So my only request to all of you is that see all of these things which will facilitate, which will help us enable, okay, which will lead us to from a certain point to a better point in tomorrow. And hence, whether you choose a certain career or otherwise, okay, it is important to be aware about things which are around you and accept it in the way that it is required to, rather than keeping ourselves away from what is the growing need of the environment.
Thank you, sir.
Just to add a few more points here, suppose if somebody is selling LIC policies to everyone, that guy is a sweet talker, right? But no post services after that. So tomorrow, are you going to go to the same guy to buy the policy or no? No, right? So what happens, you need to find out one thing which will be different than all the other marketing guys in the market. Okay. What happens is, see, tomorrow AI may come or may not come. But what I feel is, see, I am a prolific, like, movie watcher. I watch a movie every week. So currently a movie was there in which, the robo was shown, that lady robo, correct? So it's into the picture now. It's just a thought today. You don't know whether it will be in actual tomorrow. So this is the first step. So two movies have already come with Rajnikant. This is the third movie on the robo. So they are putting in your mind that AI may be your integral part tomorrow. But remember one thing: there is one thing which will be new at that particular point of time, which you will have to catch, and you will have to market your products based on that particular activity. For example, when LIC was there, insurance, okay, lot many people were adding into advantages of insurance with the investment, everything. One guy I knew was there. What he did was, he went only to the people of those houses where a death had occurred, and he helped them get the money of the deceased. So what everybody understood from this was, he is a guy who helps at the time when we need him, and he got lot many policies. So that was a different thing which he did. So similarly, there should be a different thing which you should take it out from that. Now it will depend on at the time when you are doing it. It may not be today, but the difference you need to find out, and you need to focus on that, and you need to market yourself based on that particular point. That's what I feel.
Okay, I have the next question. Actually, it is an open question. So I researched some amount and I got to know that 12% increase in study abroad concept there is a 10 to 12% increase in study abroad concept in entire India. And if we notice that more than 50% of students are staying back in that country itself. So now my concern is about India's SME sector or micro finance sectors. As we see that hardworking owners send their students abroad for higher education, and these students get attracted by the lifestyle or by the education or anything, and they stay there itself with the job or etc everything. So my concern is that what you all think about the India's future about SME if the students are not staying in India itself, and there is no one to take over the family business or the business ahead.
As far as the business continuity of the renowned industrial houses are concerned, also, generally the continuity dies down at the fourth generation. That is the first thing I would like to tell. Either there is a diversion or because everybody's got its own kind of a view whether to follow the parents' footsteps or not. Politics is a different story.
Yes.
Apart from that, I mean, in that context, if you see the SMEs now, have you found out who are the real people who get into this entrepreneurship? Those who are backbenchers,
Yes.
not necessary from the IT or the IM students. Although they do get, but generally they get into what? They get into the first jobs, and maybe in the late 40s or 50s, they have their own business or a charity institution. So that's the trend. So we did not worry really because there's a breed of parents, I would say. It is all again the student and the parent combination that they why to go out and study. In fact, there has been negative criticism also on this that a lot of forex is paid for the students who go abroad. In fact, madam is also sending few students abroad. But let me tell you, India stands number one in the world in terms of the forex inflow, which is more than $100 billion every year. So there is no room for that criticism. So what percentage of students go out? Again, they create wealth for us. So there is nothing good, bad in that context, and it's all individual choice. I hope I've answered.
Yes.
I want to add few things about it because, as sir said, I am much more involved in abroad studies. Two things which I want to bring it to your notice here. What is the population of India? 140 crores, correct? What are the number of students who fly abroad? Not even 10 lakhs. Right? So see the percentage. I mean, to answer your question, to see the percentage of students who are going abroad. Okay, it is very minuscule. But what you have to remember out here is what quality of students are going abroad. That's a bigger concern. You know, the people who are going abroad probably can be treated as brain drain for our own country. How to, you know, plug that kind of an drain from India is, I mean, when he mentioned about SMEs, now I will give you example of my own son. We are having our own business which is into manufacturing sector. So we manufacture robots for defense, and we manufacture healthcare equipments for most of the renowned hospitals here. But as a matter of fact, my son is studying his computer science, right? So no way in his lifetime ever our business is going to support him. And of course he has an inclination to go and study abroad. But what we have ingrained in him is that at the point of time when you finish your, you know, education, maybe abroad or maybe in India, you have to generate employment rather than being an employee. So that support, I mean, that onus is on the parents of those SMEs to bring that confidence in that child, that tomorrow maybe it could be a diversified business, but then their own business can support the diversification. So tomorrow, my son can come and bring some innovation in technology which may support our product, but then he can establish his own complete software development company. But in that case, the existing or the parents or the first generation or the second generation, business persons can help him set up his business back in India, and that can be engraved in the student right from the schooling, where we do not focus on entrepreneurship. We just study it as a subject, but then take one product in your 3 years of duration what you are studying your business management. Try developing a product right from its conceptualization to its last step, which is the profit, and see, you learn a lot of things, and that will give you that confidence. Even if I'm going out, I still have, people are saying that sone ki chidiya, India is a sone ki chidiya. It's really the fact. The kind of, I have been to probably all the top countries where students are going, but then when you come back to India, this is one place where you are going to get the most benefit after studying there. So that is something the institutions have to engrave in their students, that you study outside, you take knowledge, and you come back and invest your knowledge in our country's benefit. And the best example is the owner of this organization, Mr. Vishwas Deshpande. He is also a second generation business owner, went into United States, studied in Maryland College Park, and came back and set up this institution. Right? So it's, there are intentions which you need to really ignite in the young generation, that be there for 5, 6, 10 years, but come back and serve your own country. It's earn, learn, and return. So some point of time in your life, you have to return back to your own country. Yeah.
Okay, we are done with the Q&A session. That was an eye-opening, rich conversation. As Uday sir nicely quoted modesty in his own way, as Parag sir said that expert the business, because as we have three specialization, HR, finance, and marketing. But all my friends, like most of my friends, thinks that if we are studying finance, then we have to work in finance only, or if we are studying marketing, then we have to work in marketing only. But Parag sir nicely said that marketing people has to work in finance, HR, he has to look into everything if he is going for a business. And as Prasad sir nicely quoted that practical education is very important in today's world. Prasad sir, I would like to say this, that our college is very much 80 to 70% is into practical education. We have value added courses, conclaves such as this, then seminars every month, every week, to upgrade and to gain our practical education. Then, as ma'am said, that globalization is a very important concept in today's field of education. Now, on behalf of Vidyalankar School of Information and Technology, I, Varad Gupte, President of Enactus, extend heartfelt gratitude to all who have contributed in today's discussion, that is creating connections and building bridges. Firstly, we express our deepest appreciation to our management and trustees for their support and vision in organizing such an inspiring event which have enriched the education of our student. Our sincere gratitude to our keynote speaker, Mr. Umesh Maskari sir. Sir, today we got to learn and we got to know one success mantra that you have said, that strategy will make us win in our corporate world. Thank you for that, sir. And I'd like to thank our esteemed panelist, Mr. Prasad Kelkar sir, Ms. Shweta Apte ma'am, Mr. Parag Pimple sir, and our very own Mr. Uday Taldarkar sir for generously sharing their experience and expertise to our students. And by these students have the students have been inspired by getting knowledge of the industrial challenges, and they have been facing it confidently. A special note of gratitude to our principal, Dr. Rohini Kerkar ma'am, to our vice principal, Mr. Vijay Gowde sir, and chief academic officer, Dr. Lakshmi Kavita ma'am. A special note of gratitude to our head of department, Dr. Poonam Mirwani ma'am, our deputy head of department, Chitra More ma'am, and faculty in charge, Professor Nisha Dang ma'am, and my entire dedicated team and actors. Their meticulous planning, coordination, and active participation ensured the smooth execution of one-day Management Conclave 2024. Last but not least, we express our gratitude to our fellow participants for their active engagement and enthusiasm. Thank you once again to all who have contributed their time, efforts, and expertise. Thank you all. I request everyone to please fill the feedback form. Group photo, yes. We'll have one group photo. Please. Everyone, please make a note during a dispersal. Please fill the form for e-certificates. Yes, sir. Never too late. Never too late. I'd like to thank our moderator, Professor Lakshmi Pillai, ma'am. Thank you for today's session.
I wanted to add one more point that my son is an MBA and my daughter is also an